That's what the E stands for in Cape now. Ego.
Well, you know what?
Chris Aballo.
This was
Chris Aballo podcast.
Ego.
Fact. The name Cape was a joke that I had years ago from when I was for a little while. Andrew and I were in a band together. He was a bass player. And I said, we make band jokes about all sorts of stuff, especially because Metalocalypse was going at the time. So it was just rife for, just making band jokes about being the biggest band in the world and shit like that.
In a Swedish
But anyway,
accent.
we, of course, because I'm genuinely an Yngwie Malmsteen fan, which is basically who Squizgar is.
Yeah.
So anyway, my joke was with him, one day I'm going to get sick of you motherfuckers and I'm going to break off and I'm going to do my own solo band and call it Chris Aballo's Project Ego. So that was originally what Cape stood for. So it's funny that you mention Ego because that was my original. That's where the Cape name came from. I can
see both the past and the future simultaneously.
And that honestly is.
We've all seen it.
I just had that in my head for whatever reason when I started doing Cape on my own when the only podcast of ours was going. I was doing the shows simultaneously, but I was in California. I needed something to keep me sharp. Mm-hmm. So I was just doing Cape every other week. And for some reason, I had the acronym of Cape in my head. And I said, well, podcast experiment. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. And I did a lot of solo shows among the first 30 episodes. Don't go back and listen. They're not great. I'm sure they're not great. I'm not saying they are, they aren't. They're probably not because I was kind of figuring out what it would be like to do it on my own. Although I did a couple interviews, did a couple one-on-ones and things like that. The occasional panel.
I worry about new listeners going back and be like, let me listen to the first episode.
Don't do it. Dude, that's
I
still
say
happens.
the word absolutely 13 times in a half hour.
Dude, when I check the statistics, which I don't do too often, but I will see like what episodes get downloads. That's why we were talking last time you guys were on Cape 182. I've done a bunch of Instagram Reels and TikToks from that because there's so many funny moments. People keep seeing the TikToks and Reels and they're going back and checking out the episode, which is kind of the point. It's a promotional tool, obviously.
Big time.
And same with the first episode of Cape. I'm like, don't go back to the first one. Yeah. Like, don't do it. When I see people are going back,
from the beginning, it's like, I can't.
It's not representative. You want to know what Cape's about? Like, if this is your entry point, you can start at 101. That's fine, which was first day of lockdown. So it's me kind of nervous and like, I don't know what's going on, but guess what I'm doing again? I'm doing a podcast again. But that's the golden age.
My girlfriend Heather went all the way back to the beginning and started listening to all of them. And she hit a few of them. She's like, that dude talks in such a monotone way. I can't listen to it while I'm driving. I'll fall asleep behind the way. Not you. Some of the guest spots.
Okay.
I was like, if it was you, that'd be fucked up. Oh, God.
And then she was like, that guy tried to bring an eccentric point to the thing, and it fell so flat. I'm like, oh, that's the Cartoon Network versus Nickelodeon episode. That's Tim. We don't bring him back on.
God.
It was so rough.
Calling out your bad episodes, but good for you.
Yeah, specific episodes are rough but fun. And
I mean,
sometimes they're our most listened to episodes. So fuck it. Keep listening.
Yeah, awkward works.
Yeah. I'll take it.
There's an episode that I'm very displeased with, and I'm not going to say what it is, but if you know, you know.
Do you guys have any episodes you have not released?
We got a couple in the bag.
We have a couple things.
Well, I'm saying like one that like you did, and you're like, we're not putting this out.
No, we haven't.
We've always put them out.
Always.
We have weird little stuff that we haven't put out.
Yeah,
really?
A couple. We did like 50-minute like
15-minute
trailer
episodes
things.
of stuff.
And we thought we would put it on Patreon, but like we didn't get to that point yet. So they're just like in the back.
That is forthcoming. Your Patreon.
I was like, oh my god, let's do a trailer one.
Someday.
This movie's about to come out, and now it's like a year after it's actually come out, and we still haven't put it out. So,
but the content's still funny.
It really is.
Fucking
we talked about
the
new version of Rugrats that was like super 3D, and like there's so much wrong with that. Specifically, like the way the teeth look. Angelica was the bitch of that show, and she looks like she bites kid on the playground. I will stand by. I will die on the hill.
We did a 15-minute episode where we started out, and it's like, eat the biscuit, eat the biscuit.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about something, and
I forget.
Somebody brought
Popeyes biscuits.
Popeyes biscuits.
And then we made him eat them, and then we did the podcast immediately.
We started it off, stupid, and he had to have the driest mouth. Like, you brought the driest thing on earth.
Like 2 biscuits in his mouth, and we were like,
we're going to talk for an
comic
hour.
just started out.
Meanwhile, we got Slim Jim squealing hot pork rinds.
We still got Liquid Death, and it's safe to say.
Well, see, that's how powerful Liquid Death is.
It really is.
These chickaronis have not affected us whatsoever.
Not once ever.